evening, folks.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back. You're all welcome. Hope you're all safe and well. At this time tonight, we have the pleasure of having Mr. Paul Allen back in from Paranormal Analysis. Paul
Good
was with
evening.
last year, just
Hello.
no long before Christmas. But he's back tonight anyway for a catch-up to see what's been happening in the big world of the paranormal and other stuff, you know. So how are we, Paul? Thanks for coming back, buddy.
No, thanks for having me back. I appreciate that, guys. And it's good to see that you've got some new members and new additions to the team now. And I've been watching the shows recently, which has been fantastic. And it's good to see you guys growing in the right direction, and obviously getting the good names that you've had on as well, which has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've been fine. Obviously, not being able to get out and investigate, but I don't know. You may have seen a few things I've been doing on YouTube. Done one collaboration, and I've been doing some other little videos and things like that, just to keep my brain occupied. Because, like you know, I want to get out and investigate the same as many other people do, and it's so frustrating at the moment, isn't it?
So yeah, great. Thanks for the compliments with the channel. We're getting big. You see, we've got some more people on board. We've got Shelley and we've got Sam, who you unfortunately, we previously met. Because I know she's watching this. I have to say that, do you know what I mean? I know she's sitting at home watching it. We've had some great people on. We've got quite a few more lined up. And we've got different projects coming every month. And then with the USA team starting up as well.
Yeah.
Doing their own lives and what have you on the channel and get out and investigate. They're not under as much restriction as we are for now, you know. So they're still able to go out and film.
Yeah.
But whether that lasts or not, you know yourself, it's anybody's guess whether it actually, how long they'll be able to do it. So they're going to make the best of the time they've got to go out and do some filming, and we're kind of concentrating on the lives and the Facebook page for now. So we get Shelley and Sam there on board, and Laura as well, who's just popped up in the chat. Laura's one of our team members as well. She stays literally 2 minutes in the car away from us, so she's a welcome addition to the team as well. So we're getting there, we're climbing slowly. But as with everything else, it takes time, but there's a lot in the pipeline, some more big names coming on. Patty will be coming back to see us. We've got CRA cast coming in as well. So,
You forgot to mention Nicole.
It's all good. And we've got Nicole. Sorry, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
You know what I mean? I never mentioned Nicole because Nicole's always been with us for day one, basically. But Nicole is from Belgium. And we all love the bits.
Yeah.
I'm trying to crawl back in now. I'm trying to get suit back in there now. So, love you, Nicole. Was that good enough?
Yes.
That was good.
I think you've leveled it out. You've done all right there, yeah.
That's a really good save. So who we got in the chat? We've got Chaos, we've got Laura, we've got Nicole, we've got Gillian, we've got Kirsty Murphy, excuse me, and Andy Murphy as well. Welcome, folks, and Julian as well. Welcome, folks. Hope you're all doing well. But as you say, Paul, your brain does go a bit stale.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if you saw, but last week I decided to get in my car and just go around Portsmouth, because obviously you can go out within your own city to a certain extent, can't you? So I drove around Portsmouth and went to all the haunted locations in and around Portsmouth that I've investigated. And I did a short video outside each one, just telling people what the place was like, whether or not it's worth investigating, and just giving people a little bit of background about it, really, just for my own sanity, and also just to keep myself active and, let people know that I'm still here and still doing what I want to do. And that was quite good, because it was good to reminisce and talk about some of the, in my own head, obviously, but talk about some of the places that I had investigated over the past and ones that I would like to go back to. And I think before, when I was talking to you and I mentioned some of them, I mentioned the Groundlings Theatre. Did I tell you about the poltergeist activity there? I can't remember or not. But when I went back recently, the memories were so vivid of that place. Did I tell you about that or not?
No. Right.
No. Oh wow. Well, we did an investigation down there one night, and we had members of the public with us, and we went into the dressing room. So there was the stage area, like the green room, where people were getting ready, and then there was this dressing room area where they had all the costumes. And there must have been about 15 of us down there or so, members of the public, and myself and a couple of members of my old team that I used to work with. And the clothes, the rail just started coming forward towards people, like proper, like that. And then it went back.
Mhm.
Everyone was like, whoa, what the hell? And I was just standing at the back going, I've never seen this before. This is bizarre. And something else come flying over the top as well. And there was no one around there. But being back outside there the other day was really good to reminisce about. And I thought, I really want to get back in there and do another thorough investigation, you know. But I would like to do it with just the team, and no disrespect, but without members of the public, so I can really nail it down and get that real investigative side of it, if you like, done, so that you know there's no other variables interfering.
If you get members of the public, your brain's going split two ways because you're trying to concentrate on the investigation, but the other half of you is trying to watch out for the people that are with you. You know, they're I was going to say behaving, but you know, for want of a better word, that they're safe. They're not breaking any limbs or anything like that. You know.
Of course, yeah.
Jillian says that she watched the video and it was very good.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. Appreciate that, Julian.
Andy Murphy says he stayed in Portsmouth at various Navy camps, and there's such an atmosphere around the camps.
Yeah, there's so much history here, and on the video I did put up about HMS Warrior saying that I wanted to go on there and investigate. But I do remember many years ago, a friend of mine, his granddad, he's sadly passed away now, but he was a security guard on there. And I remember he let me walk around the ship when no one was on there. So it wasn't an investigation, but it was just a walk around. And the atmosphere was amazing in there. And you could feel that there was so much energy. But sadly, the dockyard won't allow me or any teams on there at the moment, which is a real shame.
Look, you just get back to the video where you said you done a wee kind of guided tour. I think that's a really good idea. You know, it also is good for you to take down memory lane and what have you. But it's also good for people, who are part of your group and what have you, that don't live near you. They can't get to these places, and I'd like to see different locations and a wee bit of history and what you've experienced there. So I think that's actually a good idea. Don't worry, we're not going to copy. We're not going to run about your side filming things.
No. I was just going to say, though, that is really a good thing because you're actually getting in about the history as well. You're able to explain what happened in the locations that you've been in visiting as well. So it does, like Scott says, it lets people see the surrounding areas that maybe don't know much about Portsmouth and stuff. Same as any other locations. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I wish like during this time that a lot more paranormal companies or investigators would do that. There seems to be this thing where some people want to keep it very secret and very quiet. I don't agree with that. I think we should all be investigating wherever we can, really. So to drive around your local area and point out all the areas to people that they may, there's thousands of places that I've never heard of. And when I see it, I think, oh, I'd like to go there. And I think just doing little things like that helps all of us as a collective to understand and find out about different locations and where they are and what's going on there, really.
And then
sorry, on you go.
I was just going to ask in your opinion, like whereabouts in Portsmouth is your favourite place to go and visit?
Wimmering Manor, 100%. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted locations in England. And I told the guys last time when I was there, I experienced what I'm assuming was a little child ghost because I was in a room up on my own and I heard these footsteps run towards me like a child's footsteps. And then I heard this little giggle go right in my face. And then I smelled this horrible, strong urine smell. It wasn't mine, but I smelled this horrible urine smell around me as well. And it was it really sort of made me go, whoa, what was that? It was really freaky. But I've heard and experienced so many things in there, and I've got lots of people that I know that work in the industry as well, that they've experienced lots of different things in there. So that definitely, if you ever get the chance and you're down this neck of the woods, it's one of the places that's quite difficult to get into. I think there's like a fund, or it's either council run, or there's like their own sort of setup, their own charity sort of thing. But they should do, because it's a good money maker for them.
Well, we were talking about that last night. I actually come down here with Sean and Juno last night there in Hastings. So, you know, also we're planning, restrictions permitting, obviously. So we're going to kind of kill two birds with one stone, pardon the pun, you know, and nick over and see you for a cup of tea and a bicky. You know what I mean?
And we drank it
when we're down. Gillian made a comment that I think she's still talking about the video you made. The other guy asking the same questions. I heard the same as you heard.
Oh, Gillian's talking about the Necrophonic app. I did the collaboration with Mickey York from UK Haunted, and I was watching him use the app one day on Facebook. I always watch other paranormal investigators on Facebook. I think it's good. You can learn things, you know, and hopefully you can pick things up and little tricks and so forth. And even though I've been doing it a long time, I still think I can always learn from someone else. So I'm quite open-minded to watching other people. And I had the app on my phone. It's called the Necrophonic, but I didn't really use it that much. I'm not really into apps. But Mickey was getting a good response out of it. So I contacted him and said, hi, Mick, can we write 10 questions each, send them to each other? So we had 20 questions, and then ask and see if we get the same answers using the app. Yeah, some of the answers were pretty good. They were quite good. It was an interesting little experiment. You know, I've never met Mickey before, but I've seen him on television and I've seen his videos, and so I thought, well, you know, he's switched on. He's a nice bloke. So someone like that, you don't mind trying experiments out with, really, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Look, you know, if you get somebody who's switched on and quite genuine, then you know, that's quite good. Sam asked you a question, but you just answered it actually. Just answered it. Johnny Sins, welcome Johnny. Says he's quite interested in paranormal analysis. All the links are in the chat, Johnny. The website, Facebook, and YouTube. The links are all in the chat. If you go there, my friend, you can click on and have a browse, whatever you want to call it. Have a look at it. But you know, we were saying, Paul, about, you know, telling people where you're going. There's a lot of channels. I've noticed as well. There's a lot of channels that don't do it. You know, there's a lot of channels that say we've got this location, but we're not telling anybody where it is. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is just my opinion. As always, it's not a competition.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You're not in it for brownie points or stars. You know, if you can help another team out, saying, you know, I've got one day a good location. Why do you know, we can't go. Why don't you go and see? You know, if you can do it. I mean, we always put up where we're going. It's something that I would never do. Is, you know, I've got a location, but I'm not telling you where it is. It's a secret. It's, you know, it's just that's not the way the paranormal was. You see the collective. That's exactly where it is. Yeah. And if we can all help each other out, then so be it. But you just unfortunately, you get these people out there that don't. And the other thing you were saying, I'm still learning. You know, I've been into paranormal for kicking on maybe 30 years now, and I don't know everything.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it? It's I think we're always learning. No one's an expert. Otherwise, we wouldn't go and investigate, would we? You know. So
that's right.
When people keep it a secret, I think, why? Why are you depriving someone else of having? You know, if you say it's such a good place and so much fun, why try and keep it for yourself? Why not allow other people to go and experience that and investigate it? And I think sometimes they worry that you might get that bit of evidence that they don't, but I don't care. If anyone produces a good bit of evidence, I'm happy for them. Yeah. I want to see it. I want to share it with them. You know, I want to go, wow, that's good. Or let's have a look and see what else is going on.
Is that there's no kind of paranormal award for, small channels and groups of who can get the best capture.
No.
Julian's made a good comment. Maybe some people don't like to say where they are because they don't have permission to be there.
That is a good point, Julie. I'm not going to name any names, but I actually watched a wee bit of video last night, and the individual is clearly just breaking lockdown rules. They're in Scotland, and we're on 20 minutes a day exercise, basically, or essential travel, the usual. This individual was out for maybe about 50 minutes, just blatantly ignoring,
And Julian's right. There are people that go out and, they break into places, or they sort of find a door open and walk in and whatever. And that's up to them. That's their choice. That I completely understand if they don't want to publicise where they are, because they're obviously not doing something correct. But if you're going out to public places where you can hire and you can see, or, if you go into a forest or some woods or graveyards and you can be there, I don't see the point in keeping that secret. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, that's right. We actually have a place round about here. It's called Glazenock House, and it's kind of been run down with teenagers and stuff like that getting in it. But people will go in there and try and do the paranormal investigations. There's like YouTube videos up about it, but the place is so badly damaged that it's just not even safe enough. And I think now it's been bought over. So, but maybe because the place is so unsafe as well, you shouldn't really go in it.
Laura said one team may capture something, another don't, which is, a good point as well.
That backs up what Andy said. Teamwork makes the dream work. I make it something you don't, and when we add it together, we get the full picture, the least degree of working together across the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
For example, we're going to Pendle. Things will be heading to Pendle after, this is kind of over. And we've, Andy's one of them in Kirsty. So I think my throat's going to go, so you might need to, I don't know, I've got that kind of niggly, tickly thing going on here. And, I says to Andy to come over, GSI are coming up to join us as well. Rather than us, we're going myself and nobody else is allowed. So I think we've got 3 or 4 different teams, including ourselves, going. And it makes for a better investigation. It makes it more fun as well. It's
such a better experience.
Exactly. One team might capture something that another one does. And you can, and as Andy says as well, you can put it all together.
Yeah.
You don't know what you end up with, I went on P7 Shelley. It was terrifying.
The Glazenock House, they used to do. They used to get the schools in and do different things with them, but it was sold and it's actually really badly damaged, and people just go in and trash it. It's such a beautiful building as well.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? When people find out about it and they go in and trash it, you can't go in for any purpose really, then can you? Which is a shame, really.
That's right.
There is. Hi Penny, thanks for coming in though. Gillian, is Andy in the room? I don't think Andy is in the room. Nicole will be able to tell you. Ghost Riches, thanks for coming in, honey. Hope you're well as well. I've been looking at your website as well, Paul, and you've got merchandise on the go.
Yeah, there it is. Just in case you didn't notice. Like I say, years ago when I was doing public events and stuff, I used to just wear my own T-shirt, and I just literally had one T-shirt. And I had people ask back then if I sold any merchandise, and I didn't really. So I thought this time, when I rebranded myself and restarted again, that put some bits together. Got a hat. You can buy them all off the website, people. I'm not here just to
fantastic.
Beanie hat, obviously polo shirts, T-shirts, and we've got hoodies as well. And it's all on the website, paranormalanalysis.com. And it's nice.
It's really nice, actually.
Yeah, it feels really nice. It's comfortable as well. And then obviously once we get up and running again and we're out doing public events, it would be nice if members of the public want to buy a top or a T-shirt or something or a hat, then obviously the option's there. It's not something I force down people's throat, but it's always nice, like you guys do. it's always good to have a T-shirt on or something like that representing who you are, really, isn't it?
It does. It's it sounds bad. It separates you. I know what I mean in my head. It makes you look kind of more professional. What have you? I mean, we're not getting into the merchandising bit here. We've got a team where, obviously we get that, and we get the hats, and we get the hoodies as well, and we get the teamwear for the American team. But we're not getting into actual merchandising. But we'll get into that one day. It's not something that's high on our list, but I like the black with the green. I know you've got white in there, but I like the black with the green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine
quite nice.
did the design. Sam, bless her, she did the design a few years ago, and I kept it because I really liked it, and I thought it looked nice on the black. It stands out, it's quite bold.
It does stand out.
Yeah, so it's one of them things that you sort of fiddle around with, don't you? And you think, I don't know if I like it or whether I don't. And then I've got another sort of small logo, which is of a crow on a gravestone, which my sister designed for me. So I have ideas sometimes, but I'm not very good with the computer to design anything.
No, I came up with a few ideas, but design-wise, what have you? I'm actually not too bad. Sort of.
Planning-wise, you're good at it, but actually constructing it on the computer, that's where I come in.
Oh,
They're a great double act.
Yeah.
I think, I can the promotional videos and that, I can put them together up here. But Sarah's the one that does all the legwork, so to speak. And, if it wasn't for Sarah, where we magic keyboard and the one you can put together. But so we kind of, I think them and she makes them, basically. It seems to work.
Make your ideas come to life.
Indeed.
Make his dreams come true, Sarah.
That's it.
Oh, just ideas come to life, Shelley. You calm down.
He wakes up next to me on the Shelley, so that's his wee dreams come true every day.
Today you've ruined my next already.
Anyway, back to seriousness. Read the comment out there.
So far, it's Hidden Gems Go. We visited Druid Temple, Ripon, North Yorkshire today. I can find much about it being investigated all anywhere. We had a few experiences today, including drain batteries, fields are being watched, and wife felt sick. Very interesting place.
Oh, that's good. See, with something like that, I don't know about you guys, but I would go back there again on another day and see if I get the same experiences again, so that you can put it down to whether or not you're just been sick that day or whether it is a paranormal incident. I've got a friend of mine, cousin's been in contact with me recently because she's got some weird stuff going on in her house. And she's asked that when lockdown ends if we could go in and investigate. Now, I'm always concerned about going into people's houses because there's a lot of ethics involved. You have to be mindful of, do they mind you filming it and putting it out to the public? Obviously, we're insured, which you have to be anyway. But also the repercussions of, if you put it out to the public domain, I think things like that you should keep secret because they don't want half a dozen paranormal investigators turning up on their doorstep going, can we come in your house? So I've asked her to keep a journal for 2 or 3 weeks to see if there's any sort of pattern behaviour. Because her husband's seen things sitting on the end of the bed. They've had lights in the house. They've had noises, direct voice phenomena. So I've asked her to keep a diary of it. So over a sort of 2 to 3 week period. So that if we do get the chance to ever go in and have a look, at least we've got some sort of forewarned evidence as to what they're experiencing. And then hopefully we can go in at that time of day or night to see if it's repeat behaviour. So whether or not it's residual or whether it's something that's unwelcome there,
I see whether there is a pattern. I was talking to Andy earlier on. He says he was home with 18% left in his battery. Andy and his wife's coming on March. Andy, if you want to put your link up in the chat, buddy, feel free. Just pop it in. Andy and Kirsty run their own group as well. And Yorkshire, obviously. Just pop it in, buddy. But when the same happened to us when we went to draining batteries, when we went to Greyfriars, we went with 2 fully charged batteries, and they're meant to last 90 minutes each. Yeah. And we got about roughly 15 minutes out of each, give or take, out of each battery, and then so it was like half an hour, roughly. We got
And then we
And
went on to our phones as
we
well.
went on
The
our phones.
phones started to drain really quick. The torch batteries had been out, and we'd changed them about. We'd literally changed them just before walking in. They'd went. The batteries and the one of the meters, they had drained as well.
just all the battery just seemed to go, you know.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
I think if it's like just one thing, like then it's easy kind of debunked. But if you're getting like a whole host of all your equipment just going down, then it's kind of harder to explain that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and it cheeses you off as well when your batteries start going. You're like,
Mhm.
bloody hell.
Because you're like, no, this is not going to work now.
Yeah,
But I think what you say, think what you said, Paul, is really good about making a diary up with like activity that's happening,
yeah,
so that you've got a better way of planning how to investigate. I thought that was a
yeah.
good point you made.
Yeah, I think especially like domestic issues with people, I've been over to houses and flats before and had a look at people who've had issues. And I've always tried to get them to keep that diary so that you go in and you've got that information at hand and you go, right, okay. And also the time, I think that's really important, because if it is residual and say it's a bit of stone tape theory and the soldier walks past at 11 o'clock or whatever every night, then at least you know that you can expect that to happen. And if it does, you're like, wow, yeah, that they've seen it at this time and it's happening at this time.
Yeah.
Then hopefully you can get something audio or on film or camera or whatever.
Back
Do you want me
in
to read this one out?
the temple's a table sitting outside a kind of cave-looking room. The whole video filmed in here has disappeared from the camera. Two mobile phone. A mobile phone. Mobile. Oh, you wanted to hear me last night? I was worse last night. Jeez. Two mobile phones died for full battery to switch off in about 50. And that was the same as us. That was about 15 minutes we had. That was the night we went with Drew and Liam, mind. And it was roughly about 15 minutes. And as you say, then, if all your batteries go, I mean, we can recharge them in the car, but I mean, it took too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's night over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
not that you can take out a paper and pad and write it down.
I've started buying spare camera batteries so that I can just charge them up and take about 3 or 4 at a time now. I think that's the only way to get around that. Especially if you're going to a new location and you've never been there before, and you think, well, am I going to start losing equipment here? Because if you not necessarily rely on equipment, but if you're heavily dependent on gaining your evidence using your equipment, then obviously you want to make sure that you've got the energy to work. If they can't plug them in or anything like that at all, I suppose.
Yeah.
Exactly, because obviously the main thing, you need your camera. To me, that's the main thing. That's the link for Andy's. I'll mail that to you later as well, Paul.
Yeah, I'll join that. Yeah, cheers, thanks, Andy. I'll go and join that as well, mate.
I'll mail that over to you later on. Your main bit of gear is your camera. Without a camera,
Yeah.
So you need to have batteries for that. Obviously your K2 meter, your laser pen, whatever it is you prefer. Preferably they've got power as well. But it's just so annoying when you're all psyched up for it and then the batteries just disappear.
Yeah, and then you're knackered.
We go to McDonald's now then or something, but Burger King still open. Dry.
Your phone app dies, you can't order a takeaway. Really good for a walk when you want to investigate. I think that's good as well. What Andy's put there is like they've just gone for a walk and not to investigate. I think these days, if you've just got your mobile phone on you can record audio on it. So if you're going out for a walk, and obviously camera, but if you're going out for a walk anywhere and you look and you feel something or you see somewhere and you think, oh, that looks good, you can always just take your phone in there and do an EVP session, can't you? So I think that's what's good about paranormal investigating, ghost hunting, whatever you want to call it. That most people these days have an electrical object at hand in their phone that can pretty much record video and audio. So I think as long as you've got your phone on you can sort of do a mini investigation anywhere, really, can't you?
That's any time. I mean, a lot of people, think you can only go out at night time. to investigate. You know, it has to be dark.
Yeah.
But as I've said many times on their lives, you know, other guests have said it as well. The spirits don't have a time limit. You know, they
No.
don't have a
No.
curfew or anything. And a graveyard, for instance, can just be as active during the day as it is at night, doesn't it? You know, they don't go away during the day and, you know, take some time out and say, right, that's 7 o'clock, guys, we better head back over. You know, it just
Mhm.
it doesn't
Yep.
work like that.
I'll be back in a mo. Okay.
Okay.
2 minutes. I just need to pop off for a second.
All right. Okay.
We'll still be here.
I've put the link to Andy's group on ours.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's to me. It's help everybody out at the end of the day. No, we're all here for the same reason, the same purpose.
Yeah. Don't matter, is it?
And it doesn't, you know, spirit doesn't get in touch with you on command.
No.
You know, so you might sit for 3 hours and get nothing, but then somebody else might sit for 10 minutes
Yeah.
and get something.
Well, the same as you. I've sat in some places for about 3 or 4 hours sometimes, got nothing at all. Just, you know, in the darkness on your own or with a couple of other people, and just had absolutely nothing. But to me, that's part of the fun. It's like fishing, I suppose, isn't it? You're there with your bait on and you're like waiting and you're thinking, come on, come on. And the minute you get that little bite, you know, you're on edge and you're ready to go. Personally, I think the reason why I do it at night time is because obviously the senses are a little bit heightened, and also it does add a bit more excitement to it, doesn't it? There's nothing more exciting than sort of going somewhere in the dark where you've never been, and there's a possibility that there might be a ghost, a spirit, or whatever there. You know, I think that's always good. It always makes people feel a little bit on edge.
I do. The first time we went to Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh, you go to Canongate Kirk, the graveyards, the church sits on the main road, the bottom end of the Royal Mile, but the graveyard sits at the back of it. And obviously it was at night time, it was pitch black. We'd never been before. And I just had my phone, which wasn't the greatest light in the world.
No.
And you walk away down the back, and I thought I'd reached the end of it at the back, but then I found these wee stairs that went down, and there was another wee path that took you to more vaults, you know.
Okay.
And you've got that kind of, no apprehension, you get that kind of wee buzz, because it's pitch black, it's very, you know, the path's very, very narrow, there's nobody else about, you know, and you're away in there yourself in these vaults and that, having a wee look at it, hoping that something happens, you know.
Yeah.
Hoping somebody's
you can feel it going, and the adrenaline's going as well, isn't it? Sometimes, and you're like, "Whoa, what's going to happen?"
You get a wee shiver at the back of your neck and what have you. And you're like watching, and you know. But then you're that bummed out when you come up, and nothing, you know, nothing's happened. You know, the most exciting thing is you're stood in a puddle or something, and that's it.
But then I think we learned a lot for that though, going to Canongate without actually going first during the daytime to get a kind of like scout of the land and stuff, because that was, we didn't know like where we were going, we didn't know the layout of the place, and so I think we have learned a lot from that especially new locations we should go during the day first.
Aye, to have a look about them. To see what's there. Kirsty's saying, I've always found York a hidden gem, especially around the Golden Fleece and the Shambles.
Okay.
Golden Fleece. I might be wrong.
Okay,
I think that's a pub, maybe. No, a boat. I can't remember. What's the Golden Fleece? I've heard of the Golden Fleece.
No idea.
I'm showing my ignorance here now, and I'm showing how thick I am. You know?
Elaborate, Kirsty, for us. Tell us more.
I absolutely love the shiver and heart palpitations. Adrenaline is such a great feeling. And did you know adrenaline is brown? I guess it can be at times, Andy. You know, it can change colour maybe. But no, it's that wee shiver you get at the back of your neck and you think, oh, what's going to be down here? And, you know, that's the fun.
No, I don't like that feeling. I get dead scared and I might get him.
I think that's what I live for, is when I'm doing that, is that edge of, you could just feel the apprehension and you can feel the energy change as well, can't you? And you're like, whoa, something's going to happen here. something's going to happen, and then it doesn't, and you're like, oh, you feel deflated. But when it does, you're gone. It's the most famous pub in York. Oh, okay, all right. Thanks for elaborating on that.
Thanks, Andy, for that. Basically, Greyfriars, I've been in Greyfriars, as I've said before, all times of the day and night, you know, in the afternoon, dead of night, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, and I'll quite happily just wander around Greyfriars myself in the dead of night, and,
Yeah.
you know, there's no... It's really strange, because Greyfriars has got the reputation of being the most haunted graveyard in the world.
Yeah, I've read that. Is it not? Or
See, that's the thing. It is really, really, really peaceful walking around it.
yeah,
We have had a few, like, for instance, the last time that we went, I felt it was like, this is going to sound daft, right? But it felt really warm in front of me, right? But when Scott came over, it went back to normal temperature. But the minute he left, it got really hot again.
oh, okay.
But I didn't really feel scared. Like, I just kind of, it was weird.
Is it true that there's a part of that cemetery blocked off where you can't go because it's so haunted, or not? Or is that rubbish?
Yes.
That is
No,
true.
that's true. What it is, it's a Covenanters prison. It used to be open, but the council locked it off, or maybe a year, 2 years ago, because there was that many reports of people getting attacked and feeling faint, collapsing, being sick, and what have you. But City of the Dead tours, they've got access to the Covenanters prison. They do nightly tours. Night time, they get the keys for it, basically. But Greyfriars, despite it, even though it's basically just a hill of bodies, that's what it is. I mean, I've been there many, many times, and it's still, every time I go, you still try to imagine in your head that Greyfriars started off totally flat. Way back in the 1100s, it started off as a garden, basically, and it was away down at street level. But obviously, with the plague hit, you know, the city, what have you, it's just turned in. It's created a hill. That's how many bodies are there. The estimation's about 500,000 bodies around Greyfriars. And it's just, if you can imagine just a pile of bodies and somebody's put a green carpet on the top of them.
Yeah, crikey, yeah. I'll have to get there sometime.
Despite its history and reputation, every time we go, it feels very calm.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk in the gates, it doesn't feel... When I walk in the gates, you can feel... The best way I would describe it, you ever walked into a crowded room, and people stop talking and look at you? That's how Greyfriars feels. If you're walking in somewhere crowded and everybody just stops, you know.
Right, the first time we went to Greyfriars and I had earache, and I didn't have earache all day, my ears were fine. The minute I stepped foot over the gate, I had earache until the minute I stepped foot on the way back out it was so strange.
Wow.
That was my very first time visiting Greyfriars.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place. Hi, Julie. It's an amazing place, and it's been the subject of so many documentaries, stories, YouTube videos, and everything. We had a picnic and it was peaceful. That's Laura. That's our other teammate.
Okay.
Peaceful and beautiful. As you can lose yourself just sitting in Greyfriars. It's totally, it's hard to. You'd actually need to witness the atmosphere for yourself.
Yeah, I'd like to go up there and have a look, actually, because I've read lots of different things about it, and I've always thought, on my to-do list,
Well, after lockdown, just fire up the A1, up the East Coast, fire up, takes you straight to Edinburgh. No, we can always meet up, because that's our first destination after lockdown's done. We're heading straight.
Can't
wait. Pass each other on the motorway.
Yeah.
Years ago, I used to, believe it or not, being on the south coast, I used to date a girl up in Lancaster. So I used to go up there quite a lot. And wow, that's an amazing place as well, isn't it? Lancaster. Have you ever been there to investigate? It's like,
no.
With Pendle.
Yeah, around Kendal, all that sort of area. Yeah, but I didn't go to Pendle. What was the castle we went to? Clitheroe Castle, is it? That's near there, isn't it?
Clitheroe.
I've investigated in there. But that was with a big team. It wasn't my team. That was with a different time. I was with my brother, and his wife, we all went up there for a weekend, and we went with a paranormal group, and that was quite good. They promised us Pendle, but we never got there. But we did Clitheroe Castle, so that was good. Enjoyed that.
Well, we got a 3-day visit to Pendle planned.
Yeah.
I've walked around the Mount Edinburgh a few times, and I've sworn I could hear bagpipes playing in the distance, but that used to be some playing in another street. But I remember my dad telling me about the one piper. There's meant to be 2 pipers. There's meant to be one who plays up in the ramparts at Edinburgh Castle, but there's also another story. There's 2 different versions to the story. One is a piper, one's a drummer. I was a couple of 100 years ago. Workers at the castle found a tunnel the entrance to a tunnel. Sorry, and nobody knew this tunnel existed. So this young boy volunteered to walk down the tunnel to find out where it went, how long it was. And as I say, there's one story is he played at a drum going down, another one is his bagpipes. And what happened was he went into the tunnel and started walking down, and people followed him from street level up in the Royal Mile. About a third of the way down, the music, the drums and the bagpipes stopped, just nothing. So they went down to look for him, and it just totally vanished. And it still remains a mystery to this day what happened to him. The boy just totally vanished. And they do say that some nights on the Royal Mile you can hear bagpipes, and other people claim to have heard drums. So just when you said that, Andy, it's quite possible, because that is alleged to the story.
Yeah. How did you all How did you all get into this? Was it watching TV or curiosity?
Paul, we're our guest. You can fire first.
I'll go. I did answer last time, Julie, but I'll give you a very quick version of it. When I was about 6 years old, I saw a spirit of a lady in my parents' house, and I opened up my bedroom door, and she was just sort of standing there beckoning me, and I absolutely whooped. So I went and hid under my bed covers all night, like that. And I wanted nothing to do with the paranormal or spirits. It just frightened the life out of me. And then sort of 1992, when I left the Air Force, I started taking an interest in the paranormal. So I would go and join groups. I would go out on my own. I didn't have any equipment or anything, but I just read lots of books, and I went out on my own to graveyards. I've always had a thing for graveyards. I think because I grew up next to one. My mum still lives there now. So I'm always drawn to graveyards and cemeteries. And then I just carried on from there, really. And then 2003, I started getting into it properly. And that's when I started joining other paranormal teams, and I was learning different bits. I sat in many different psychic and mediumship development groups because I used to pick up on things. But as time goes on, I've let that go, and I'm more into the investigating now. I had a paranormal radio show in 2008, which I did for about just under a year, but it got cancelled, sadly. And then I had a break about a year or 2 years ago, and I've just recently come back into it, started a new team, and that's where I am.
I think with myself, my first paranormal experience was actually seeing the apparition of a cat. I used to do the tarot. I used to dabble in the tarot when I was a teenager, and I get told I was quite good at it, but I don't know. So we had this set of tarot cards, and this is how naive I was. The tarot cards was actually lying on the floor, and I was sitting on the couch, and a black cat just walked right across in front of me. Now it was quite funny because we had a black cat, but this cat never had any eyes. It was like the socket of the eyes was completely darker than the actual apparition of the cat, and that was the first time I'd ever actually seen a paranormal experience. I'd obviously been interested from a very young age, but then after that, just hearing things and seeing things and just all different experiences. I think I watched your interview with Scott and Sarah before, and you were talking about deja vu. So deja vu happens to me quite an awful lot of times, like even just today, the deja vu. But just seeing things and hearing things like and getting touched and stuff like that. That's what got me into the paranormal. Just knowing that there is something there and it needs investigating, and being able to communicate with spirit was a great thing.
Sam is saying that her first experience was waking up when she was around 5 or 6 and can only describe them as mannequins at the bottom of her bed.
That's how Sam got into it. Laura said, I think most of us would say personal experiences. Myself, my interest goes way, way back. I was a teenager. I was into horror films and all the usual sort of blood and guts, just horror in general. And around about my 20s, I would say I could, this was before mobile phones came out, if a landline rang, I could tell you who was phoning. And it used to freak my ex-wife out something bad. It's actually her mother on the phone. And it would be her mum on the phone say, how do you know that? I said, I don't know, I just know it's your mother or it's your sister. That's went on for a couple of years. Then I went to my first spiritualist church. I seen a medium came to me and she gave me a lot of different information which was totally spot on. Even down to wee tiny thing that nobody knew. My wife didn't even know. And she says, you started to study spiritualism and you have to keep going, you have to keep doing it. And she was right, I had started to study it, and that was it. We started, Sarah and I started the channel and the Facebook page and the team off last July. And,
Was that really?
That was it. That's how we got into it.
Mine, I kind of got into it because Scott kept banging, I've said this before, Scott kept banging on about the paranormal, and I was like, right, okay, and I just get fed up listening to him about it, so I was like, do you know what, fine, we'll go out, we'll investigate, and then I can make up my own mind. And that's how I kind of get started.
As Andy said, mine was a late experience. It was reading a poem at my mum's funeral in 2010. I felt a hand on my shoulder. I felt a complete calm across me and could read the poem without emotion.
Oh,
that's great. That's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing. I know you think, Paul, the paranormal. All right, there's a lot of backstabbing goes on. A lot of drama, a lot of bitching, all that kind of stuff. But the other side of the coin is that it's a community. And I mean, Sarah and I have only had the channel for about 6 months now, and the amount of people, including yourself, obviously, the amount of people we have met through the channel, had on as guest interview and whatever, even in the chat as well. It's absolutely amazing, and we've learned so much as well since then. And that's I think the good thing about paranormal is, as I said before, we can all help each other, and we can make it fun. I'm not saying make fun of the paranormal, but you can enjoy it. Have a laugh, be normal.
we've made some friends out. Look at Shelley and Sam. We would have never have met them otherwise.
I know.
It's so good. We've got such a good relationship as a group, and just meeting all these different people and learning from their experiences. Like I've already learned from you yourself tonight, Paul. It's fascinating, and I haven't done as much research in my life than I have done since I started this group. I've literally been researching, reading, watching videos, reading books, and I'm learning so much and enjoying it just the same. It's fantastic.
As Julie saying, thank you. I had a similar experience as you also out of body. Red light night. My mum took me over. I wasn't scared. We just laughed at like we always did, but the medium got to stand back. I just love all of it.
I think I was going to say about that actually, Julie. You mentioned that in one of the previous lives about a red light night, and it's something I'd never heard of. So I'd be quite intrigued to know what that was. Mm-hmm. If anybody's ever heard of a red light night, I've never.
Trance mediumship night, because when they do trance mediumship, they use red lights.
I get you now.
Sat there and then they get taken over, and you'll see almost like when you do scrying in the mirror, you get to see people
just transfiguration.
Yeah, I've sat in quite a few of them. They're weird, but yeah, I've never had it experienced it, but I've sat watching people do it, and wow, some of the things that come over their faces, it's like really bizarre.
I've done the spiritual healing one night in Glasgow, the main spiritual church in Glasgow. I used to go every Sunday, And it was 1 week, the medium was saying, after this, we're doing, spiritual healing, if anybody's interested. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'd never done it in my life. So I thought, I'm going to, I'll give it a go. And so, we sat in a circle, medium was in the middle, and she came to each one individually, and she's doing the hands all around about you.
Yeah.
And different, she doesn't actually physically touch you. It's just arms and
energy
pieces. And I had the car outside, and I came out of there feeling so totally relaxed. I had to sit in the car for about half an hour or something before I could start it, before I could drive. You just get, what I mean? You've had a really, really great massage and everything. You're kind of zoned out,
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a beautiful feeling,
Yes, Laura, they do. But it's all worth it. No, Sarah does a lot of work, but it's all worth it. It really, really is.
It's good. It's good.
It's all Scott's brain. It's Scott's brain. I mean, I genuinely don't know why it works so much constantly. Just constantly working. Right, you could do this and you could do that, but it's all good fun. We enjoy it.
I mean, Sally mentioned earlier the fried eggs, but what happened, Paul, was the other day, I think it was Sunday, I was made Liz, we were having fried egg sandwiches, right, as you do. Yeah. And I was standing frying eggs in the kitchen, and the idea of a ladies' night popped into my head. I don't know why. I just, could do a ladies' night. I think
you need to elaborate on the ladies' night, otherwise you just sound like a complete...
I'm going to get to that bit. So I said to Sarah, she was sitting relaxing for a change, and I say that with gritted teeth, for a change. And I said, would you think about doing a ladies' night? She's like, what? I says, a night where it's an old lady panel talking about all lady hauntings, goes Anne Boleyn, Mary Queen of Scots, whoever, female, woman ghosts, and so that's what Shelley was talking about, the frying the eggs. It just, we could do a ladies' night. It's insane how your mind works.
Yeah, what pops in there? I was 6.
Because I was 6 when I first witnessed my first paranormal. My neighbour couldn't have kids, and me and my auntie couldn't hear a baby crying most nights. And my neighbour got bought. My neighbour bought it was me or my young sister, but a priest ended up coming out to my neighbour's house to bless it. Some history in Rotherham, and one day at home to get back to investigate.
Oh, that's unusual. Oh, I can't hear you now, Scott. You disappeared.
Sorry, that was me.
That's all right. I can hear you now.
So, I mean, Custis goes back to when she was 6 years old. You find that a lot of people... Hi, Carol. It's like a speaker box with red light. You see another face come over the people's face. My mum came over me.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see, that's something else I've learned, and I'd never heard of that.
No, I can't say
I'd never heard of the expression red light. Like I've heard of, obviously I know about people being able to take on expressions and sometimes like the voices and stuff like that. But I just thought that was called something else. I thought that was transconfiguration. So, is that right?
Where, we get that's over. It's I mean, it's weird the different things that people experience as well. But when you get to the crux of it, a lot of people do experience similar things, don't they? But just slight tangents. A lot of people experience things from a younger age as well. I mean, like I say, when I sort of left it, when I came back and I was doing all the sort of psychic-y stuff and spiritual stuff, the weirdest thing that happened to me was I was doing tarot readings at a psychic fair, and I was sat next to I was sat next to my friend Paula, who's a medium, and I was doing tarot readings and she was doing mediumistic stuff. And the most bizarrest thing happened to me. I had quite a largish lady sat in front of me with like a leg in a plaster that was broken, and I saw this blue band above her head, like an arch, and it was like a dark navy blue. And in it, I kept seeing all these clocks and watches. And I thought, what on earth is that? And I just said it. I went, I can see above your head lots of clocks and watches. And she went, yeah, I repair clocks and watches. Looking at her, you'd have never guessed this in a million years. and it was the most bizarre experience I've ever had when I've like given someone a reading. And then 2 weeks later, I had a similar thing, but it was a white band with someone else, obviously, at a different psychic fair. And I saw aeroplanes in there, and I told this woman, and she said, "Yeah, my father and my husband fly gliders." I've never had it since. I don't do readings anymore, but I've never had it since. But it was the two most strongest bits of evidence, I would say. But I personally feel it was like an energy exchange. I feel that I was just picking it up from their energy. But to be visual as well, I'd never experienced that to that extent. It was really bizarre.
Did you have any experience on a base? I've had a few, but they are not the easiest places to investigate.
Oh yeah, because Andy says RAF. Yeah, I'm ex-RAF as well, just in case people didn't know. I did at Swinderby, Andy. You may have gone there. I'm sure you did. Which is in Lincolnshire. It's been demolished now, but one of the old hangars there. But I was 18 at the time, and I was trying to avoid it, and I saw a shadow, and it just freaked me out because I had flashbacks from when I was a kid, and I was like, nah, not for me, thank you very much. So I didn't give it any attention and just left it alone. But that was the only experience I had on an RAF base.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Why'd you stop reading when you do it?
I think because my passion is more paranormal investigating, ghost hunting, if you like. That's more where my passion is. I'm very empathic with people, and if I do readings, I get drained very quickly. I'm like a Duracell battery. I'm full of energy, and if I start doing readings for people, I come down very quick. I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I've stopped doing hypnotherapy because people can drain me really, really quick when they come in with whatever they come to see me for. So I don't do it. Sorry about that. It's my parrot gobbling off in the background. So that's why I've stopped doing readings and hypnotherapy. But the paranormal sort of investigating side is where my real passion is, and that's the area that I want to pursue a bit more.
Jewish saying if it's shadows around. Hi Penny, I just saw Penny saying, "Oh, if it's shadows," and any of you pick up on it.
I can't because I'm not really sort of tuned as such. I'm not relaxed, and as you can tell, I'm a bit hyper.
Yeah, and I certainly wouldn't be able to pick anything up on that because I'm no.
And I'm as psychic as a brick wall, so.
Julie, if possible, if you take some photographs, if you can, just different parts of your house where you tend to be seeing them, and if you can send them to us, we're not saying we'll be able to help you, but that's the best way. If you can take some still photos and send them to us, and maybe send them to Paul.
We'll do some EVP recordings and ask if there's anyone around there as well.
Yeah, you can do that. It's you can send away to either Paul or ourselves, whatever.
Send them to you
then. And we can get back to you. That's about the best. If we had Charlotte or Patty on just now, she'd probably be able to help you.
Pick up, yeah.
But that's the best we can do just now for you, my friend, dog. To say photographs or, as Paul says, voice recordings.
Ask that right, I suppose, yeah.
See what you pick up.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wind it up there, folks. That's had the hour just about. I say I don't. You kind of push the time as well, Paul. But we will be having you back, buddy.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
I'll just hang on
Really nice to meet
for a couple of minutes after we come off, if that's all right. So thanks for coming in, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed seeing Paul again. I know we certainly had always a pleasure to see him. He's very down there, very genuine. But the links are in the chat for his YouTube channel, Facebook, and his website, and also his bits and pieces.
I was going to go somewhere.
If you're going to advertise something, get the right side of the top, for God's sake.
Oh, no. It's on the right side. It's just back to front on the screen.
My label's on there, you know what I mean?
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Very nice.
We're back in on Saturday night, 9 o'clock. We have Jeff Hatch and Maria Olsen from the CRA movie The Crumbs.
Yeah.
They're coming on.
Fantastic.
They're coming in to see us and talk about their experiences with making the movie and about the movie itself. So that's 9 o'clock on Saturday.
Yep.
So hopefully we see you then, and stay safe, everybody, as much as you possibly can. And thanks very much for coming in. Bye.
Fantastic.
Bye.
Take
Thanks,
care. Bye
guys.
bye.